All right, fellas. So consider this the Saiyan Day celebration wrap-up video. And what I want to do is kind of address like the high points and the low points and all of the points of Saiyan Day and kind of give my opinion on it.
Super Saiyan ってこんな世界があったなんてよ。うわお前たちをぶっ倒す。
So overall, you look at Saiyan Day, and to me it feels maybe just like a step above or even kind of on par with just kind of like a whatever random celebration. Where I think they get an absolute W, Dokkan, is the quality of the units. You know, this is no Dokkan Festival Raditz celebration. You know, this guy is even a step above, you know, Bardock and Yamcha. He's one of these special units. He's going to be one of these units that's remembered, like, oh, like, you know, 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to be remembered, you know, after he gets his EZA or whatever. You know, we're going to all be remembering, man, you remember how fucking good this guy when he came out? You know, that's going to be this type of release, right? He's on par with the Gammas. He's on par with Kid Goku. You know, upon release, on par with, like, SDR Cooler. Like, he's one of, like, those units, right? Like, he's just one of those special units that you just remember. So I think you look at him. Even the Tech Vegeta, the My Bulma Vegeta, I actually have not pulled him yet this celebration, but I've seen enough footage of him. I've seen people use him. I know his kit. He definitely seems very good as well, right? For a banner unit, he seems very well. Particularly when he gets to that Super Saiyan 2 form. He is pretty tanky, right? Like, he's just overall a solid unit. The banner itself, God Goku's banner, is an absolute W with the likes of God Goku and Vegeta, Trunks and Vegeta, Majin Vegeta.
そろそろオラとやろうぜ。
1対1にこだわってる場合じゃないだろう。
Sorry, had to pay homage to the gods there, right? Pay my respects, right? Because here they are, pushing a full year later over here on Global, and they are still, I don't want to say as effective as ever, like, but they kind of are just like effective as ever, right? They fit right in on this Pure Saiyans team with God Goku, right? So, but again, looking at the banner, all memes aside, it's like you've got Raditz, who's like the 6th best option on this banner, and it's not a horrible banner, right? You do have a couple of L's. You do have Namek Goku on there, who's certainly not a bad unit, like, let's not get it twisted. But he's just very old. All of you old-timey, you know, Grandpa Dokkan players, you're going to have him rainbowed, or at the very least with like 2, 3 dupes in him, right? I mean, there is that one rando player who's been playing since, you know, the early 90s who doesn't have him. But mostly you're going to have him rainbowed. And then Bardock, right? AGL Bardock's just a fat L. I was hoping he would get his EZA during this celebration, but then it's like you look back and it's like the year prior's unit hasn't even got their EZA, and that Fizz Vegeta, so they might be saving him for like worldwide or some other special celebration. I think it's important for global players and JP players alike, just Dokkan players, right, to kind of temper expectations for a celebration like this. So Saiyan Day, right? It was never meant to be anniversary level, worldwide download celebration level, even Tanabata level, right? Even like New Year's, right? I would maybe compare it to something like New Year's.
待たせたな、カカロット。
いけるぜ、ベジータ。
Although looking back on this past New Year's celebration, you know, it was a little bit more special, right? Because of Beast Gohan and then Orange Piccolo, right? So certainly a bit more special was this last New Year's celebration because it was meant to sort of tie in the movie stuff, right? That Clearly, this was an issue from up top. We've all kind of talked about it, right? But this was an issue from up top, right? They weren't able to make these units until they got the all clear from whatever powers that control this game, right? Not Akatsuki, but Akatsuki hadn't been able to get permission from Shueisha. It's usually Shueisha, right? They're usually the ones sticking their nose in all of the business, right, and giving the okays. I'm pretty sure they're the big governing body over this game, right? Shueisha, Toei, whomever, right? But Shueisha is usually the one who are doing all these copyright strikes and this kind of thing on, you know, YouTube channels and such. But we can kind of move on from that, but looking at the constructs of the celebration, I did kind of like what they did with the EZAs. So we got a big-time EZA in LR, Beerus, and Whis, right? LR EZAs are always hype. I mean, except for, like, one or two here or there, right? Like, I wouldn't necessarily say, for instance, like, LR Trunks and Mai, they were super special, right? But they were just completely overshadowed by the EZAs of Tech Vegito Blue and STR Rose, right? Like, no one gave a shit about them. And they're not even really that special, but you know, LR Beerus and Whis, they seem like a very capable option. I think problem over here on Global, no 200% leader skills for them as of yet, right? So Bond of Master and Disciple is their only 200% leader skill, and that exists only on the JP side of the game with the Carnival Kid Gohan, right? The Int 1 that came with the Part 2 of the 8th anniversary. And then I think you can look at the other EZAs, be it the actual EZA event EZAs, the Tech and Int Whis, Rage Vegeta, Int God Goku, and then Int Beerus. I think you can look at all of them and, like, they kind of just are what they are, right? They'll certainly all kind of have their uses. I think they run into this problem that a lot of these sub-EZA units run into is like, dude, are you really running them? Or are you running a team like I'm running right here? You know what I mean? So, Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans, yeah, I guess you can run some of the God Gokus, right? I mean, you can, like, no doubt. Like, if you just want to run, like, a full God Goku squad just for laughs, I guess. But even if you run one additional God Goku on your team, you have 3 God Gokus on your team that you kind of have to contend with. You know, God Goku is now one of the strongest units in the game, and most competitive units in the game in terms of the name itself, you know, Super Saiyan God Goku. So are you going to run him? Or are you going to run, like, for instance, the EZA TUR Int God Goku? Or are you running LR God Goku, who has just recently EZA'd on Global, who's still pretty damn good? Are you running the STR God Goku, or are you running Tech God Goku, right? Who's still ridiculous against movie bosses. You know, some of the toughest content in the game is against movie bosses. So I think you can definitely make the argument there that, like, maybe the God Gokus or whatever, but I think certainly Int Whis, Tech Whis, they'll be useful down the line in some Super Battle Road stages. I think even now they could be useful in some Super Battle Road stages. Int Whis with his chance to dodge. 50% chance to dodge ain't bad. I really wish they would have given him the 70% chance. 50% just for the amount of defense he's rocking just doesn't quite feel like enough to me personally, but, you know, maybe I'm off base there. It's a very solid defensive stat right there, considering this guy is guarding. You know, we do have defensive support on rotation with the STR Carnival Goku here. But, dude, God Goku, man, just, again, I talked about it early in the video. He's just one of these units that's very special, right? They put a lot of effort into making this unit, whether it be just the quality of his kit and card overall, the transformation, the active skill, just all of it, right? The animation, it's awesome, right? Just overall, just an awesome unit. That was a really good look for him, right? That was basically a 10 milli, you know, just a 10 milli burger. He can spit out 3 of those. So I think I end up using the God Goku active skill here and the Beast Gohan. So And then anyway, the Beeruses, right, they kind of just are what they are. I think, again, probably you'll be able to find use. Maybe if you're like a free-to-play or a low-to-play or something, maybe you haven't been playing that long, they could certainly flesh out your roster a little bit, you know what I mean? So it's certainly good that some of these old units get easy A's, but I just don't think they were quite at that level where, like, they're just gonna be hella useful, you know what I mean? So certainly the chance to dodge coming in big time clutch and having type disadvantage, you know, in these guaranteed crits is very, very good. Very, very nasty is this unit. Other than the easy A's, there's not too much to speak of, right? We did get a stage for the Infinite Dragon Ball History, which was ridiculously easy. The only... she mentioned Soto in the Dokkan Now. Is it Soto or Kodo? Whatever. She mentioned in the Dokkan Now that it was going to be a very difficult stage of Infinite Dragon Ball History. The only thing is Whis cancels dodge in the last stage. It's not like it was crazy hard. Again, with the quality of units, I think it's just tough to make events scale to it, right? Especially if you're rocking multiple dupes in some of these big-time units, right? It's just tough, right, to make any content hard unless you're limiting it to very, very niche, you know, bad categories, right? If there was a Heavenly Events mission, for instance, that might be a little tougher, right? So, but you had Infinite Dragon Ball History. We did have a burst mode from Beerus's Dokkan event, so that was certainly kind of cool. I do like the burst mode. It isn't a good touch, right? And this is one of these things where it's going to maybe make some units like Int Beerus, for instance, useful down the line.
フュージョンするぞカカロット。
フュージョンしてっておめえの口から聞けるなんて最高だぜベジータ。フュージョン。
俺は孫悟空でもベジータでもない。俺は貴様を倒す者だ。さてと、いよいよこの俺の必殺技を見せてやるか。これであの世へ送ってやる。ウルトラビッグバンカメハメ。
So, I think burst mode is a big time W in my book anyway. I really do like it. Again, this is going to make some of these sub-easy A's like useful and not just complete fodder or waste of your time. So there is that. I definitely do dig burst mode. This particular one was kind of easy compared to like the Bojack. The Bojack one was pretty tough, right? The Terrifying Conquerors STR, even with that ridiculous team, it was pretty tough. And then beyond that, it's like you had Patan Battle, whatever. You know, Patan Battle just kind of is what it is. It's just an extra thing to do. And then, of course, everyone's favorite and most cherished, beloved Chain Battle, right? The cool thing about Chain Battle is at least the equips are good now, right? The skill orbs, it's rare that I'm getting, like, L's all the time. When we first started Chain Battle, it was like getting the Holy Grail was like getting a +4 additional or a +4 crit gold or something. But like now it's like you've got the dual abilities for the silver skill orbs and even for the bronzes. Like you've got the +600 to some stats, which is really, really good. So skill orbs have certainly come a long, long way. I think the next thing that you need to do with skill orbs is you need to add like damage reduction to skill orbs. You could add like support, even if it's just like a little bit of support to units, to like your allies on that rotation or something like that. I think there's definitely some cool stuff that they can still do with skill orbs that they have not even tapped into yet. So hopefully they kind of make that transition soon, right? Maybe they'll do that with, you know, some worldwide stuff, or maybe they'll do that with the 9th anniversary or something of that nature. But as annoying and as boring as sometimes Chain Battle can be, at the very least it only lasts, you know, 10-15 minutes if you're doing all 3 of your runs. they've made improvements to it. So, for instance, you know, it's not you have to do 5 runs a day. It's only 3 runs a day now, right? They made that change probably, I don't know, what, 6 months ago or something like that. Definitely a very good change, right? So, but overall, guys, I mean, the celebration, there really wasn't a whole lot to it. God Goku's ridiculous. His team's ridiculous. Didn't talk too much about his team. But Pure and Hybrid Saiyans is just a ridiculous team to run, right? You can get through any of the tough content in the game. So let me know what you think of Saiyan Day in the comments below. Slap a like, and I will catch you in the next one.